welcome to Apple One-to-One Training. This is Will and Frank. We're actually in person together for the first time in a long time. But the goal here of this episode is to talk about Final Cut Pro 2 on the iPad, as well as using Final Cut Camera. And what we're going to showcase today is how you actually do multicam. So I'm going to be kind of more the behind-the-scenes guy, but Frank, since he is a natural drummer here, he's actually going to play, and we're going to show you how you cut in between the shots. We're going to set up two cameras today with using Final Cut Camera. Now, there's a couple of rules here. Number one, with Final Cut Pro 2, you have to have an M1 or above version if you're going to be using this. With the Final Cut Camera, you have to have that installed. A couple things to point out: you have to have Wi-Fi on, and you have to have it open, and you've gone through all the setup, local network steps and everything. And then what we're going to show you on the iPad is going through and how to set up multicam and how to start recording.
I've been asked a couple times to get several cameras on the videos that I post to YouTube. So we're going to have one using as a frontal shot, and one is going to be looking at the heads inside so that you can see the handwork. So depending upon your situation, you're going to want to position the cameras wherever you think appropriate.
Yeah, I think having one shot where you have a wide shot of your environment, and especially that in the way we're doing this, we're almost doing this by ourselves. Like almost like if one person was actually doing this.
Exactly.
We're just showing you, just for time reasons, that I can go through Final Cut Camera and Final Cut Pro 2, set that up, and remember, it's $49 a year if you want to do this. So let's start going through the actual Final Cut Pro setup. All right, so we are now ready to open up Final Cut for iPad. So we're going to click on the icon to open it up. We're going to start a brand new project. On the bottom left corner, you can see the option for new project. We're going to go ahead and click that in there. And then we have an option to choose browse projects that you already have or new projects. So we're going to click that. Now we have project name. So right away, we're going to give this a name. We now have the option for timeline settings, which is format. So format will automatically just put down the orientation that you're shooting at, or if you hit custom, you can create a custom timeline resolution in there, but we're going to do automatic for this one. Location storage, you can also store into the Files app, or you can store it in Final Cut Pro for iPad itself. For the sake of this testing, we're going to use Final Cut Pro for iPad. We now have an option to record with camera, record with multicam, import from photos, and import from files. Obviously for this project, for this training, we're going to do live with multicam. It now pops up and tells us to add angles. So we're going to connect up to 4 devices. And already you can see in the known devices section, it's popping up the iPad that we're using, my iPhone, and Frank's iPhone. So it's automatically doing that. Make sure that you have Final Cut Camera already open when you're doing this. You have to have it ready to go, and you have to have the Wi-Fi on. You have to have it on an Apple account. So I tapped on Frank's, and now Frank's is showing up. You can see there's a Wi-Fi symbol now right directly next to it, and it connects in the background. Now you can see Frank's camera showing up. I'm setting up the camera now for Frank's shot next to the drums. And now there is that angle. Now you can see behind us, we have 2 angles now. One that's focusing closer on Frank, and then the other shot, which is more of a wide shot. Now, if someone doesn't have Final Cut Camera, on the bottom, there is a link there where you could share the link, but it just shares the link to the App Store. All right, and now we have our settings that we're going to be setting this up with. For this setting, we're going to use 1080. We don't need the higher resolution. Landscape, we're going to keep that. And then we have the frame rate, which we'll keep at 30. Apple ProRes, if you want to record in ProRes, you can, as well as if you want to do HDR, if you want to do SDR, if you want to do log recording. So log recording would be more of a flat image that you can fix later on, and you have more control. And then you can preview with the LUT. As you can see, there's a little box there. So you can see what the LUT would actually look like if it was applied. We're going to do HDR for this testing purpose. Anyone can start recording, so anyone can just press the record button, which will then go on for everybody. Also below that, we have recording time, battery level, and LUT if it's on. So on the display, we can have all that information there if we need to have that available to us. Personally, I'm going to keep all these on. All right, so now we are ready to go for the recording. You can see on the right side, I have this red button there, which would start the recording myself. The live multicam is ready to go. If I click on one of the phones, it'll show me I can rename the phone. So if I want to rename it to a different style, so let's say I want to do wide angle or something like that, you could do that. You could rotate the clip. You can also remove it, and then you could also do a 180 if you need to do that for any reason in case you're filming a different direction. So you could do that on each of the devices. And now that Frank is getting ready to be set up for this shot, what we're going to do now is start the recording of it. But before we do that, I want to show you on the Final Cut camera side what that actually looks like if we were to go on the camera settings. So this image is when you are already connected to the multicam. You can see there's a warning saying that waiting for live multicam recording available. So on the left side, we have all the recording settings. On the bottom left, there's that yellow there. That shows you you're on a live multicam. You do have control though, so make sure that you understand you can control if you want to zoom, if you want to move around, and if you press the record button, you will start the multicam recording if you want to do that. You can see you have 13, 24, and 120 millimeters. So if you want to, what camera basically you want to use, since you have a Pro on there. So just so you know, there's also a reverse on the top right corner if you want to reverse it and aim toward yourself. It shows you your battery life and how much time you have left to record. So I just wanted to show you what it looks like when you're connected to this look. So now let's go to the iPad and actually see the live multicam in action. All right, so we completed the recording. I pressed the record button and it recorded. So I just wanted to, real quick, I did not screen record that, so I do apologize. But here's the multicam clip. You can see now we have both recordings there. And what I'm doing is I'm trimming. I'm deciding where we're going to start, where we're going to end. Hit append, and now I brought it into the timeline. Now, this is the part where you get to actually cut the footage around. So we're going to hit multicam. And now you can see on the bottom, I have both angles available there. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to play the video live. And then what we're going to do is we're going to switch back and forth between the video. So that way, while it's playing in the video track, you will then see it. So here we go. So Frank, we're starting on the wide shot. And then you'll see my finger tap. And there you go. Now I'm on that shot, and you can see in the timeline it has created this almost like a cut, and every time that I'm tapping on the image, it is starting to cut that item. Now what we're doing in post, by the way, is we are recording into Logic Pro, and we're going to have a more professional sounding track. Otherwise it would sound, you would only hear his drums. So he's recording into Logic Pro. So what we're doing in post is we're going to be adding his recorded Logic Pro track to the recording that he did live, and we're going to sync that together. But the idea of this is to show you how to record and how to switch between the different ones. So one of the things that we want to do going forward is we want to do, whenever we're together and we're able to do some recordings, we can actually do this exact setup for us, where we can record all the tracks. So you record all the tracks that you have, and then what you do inside of Final Cut for iPad is you could easily switch between them. Now, as you can see, I had to slide down a little bit so I can get more of the track in there. This is one of the things about, I wish that there was more, like the timeline would move. There's probably a way to do that, but I don't know how to do it in this one, so I apologize. Again, we're kind of new to this, so we're just learning like everybody else is. But we wanted just to show you a quick preview on how you can record multiple tracks using Final Cut Camera, how to use the multicam in Final Cut iPad for 2, and how you switch between them. So now what I want to do is show you just a minute of footage of what we actually did. This will include the audio from Frank's track, and we're going to be doing the drums so you can hear the whole thing and you can see the cuts in between.
Hey, so we hope you enjoyed that, and
it's a masterpiece, this man.
Yeah,
He is a masterpiece. That's what he is. But Frank, thank you very much for demoing your home with us and going through the drum set. I hope everyone learned something from this video, and we were really cool to do something a little different that we haven't done on the channel for a while. Please like and subscribe our content. Any questions you have, please leave it below. Either me or Frank will always answer the comments or the questions. And Frank, take us out.
hey, we love each and every one of you. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for viewing our content. Don't forget to click the like button and subscribe so you can see all our training videos as well as links to download our podcast.